Okay, for this sloppy, unrehearsed tutorial, we're going to look at how to make a mesh in Blender out of a letter, an alphabetical character, that when clicked on, pops up a note card and spins perpetually. Okay. Um, this is a very specific scenario. So it's pretty good for beginners, assuming you already have Blender installed and you already have a world in OpenSimulator, a region where you can create things. Okay, let's delete this for now. Actually, I'll leave it there. Okay, back in Blender. Create a new project. I use General for this. Oh, alright, we already have one. Left click the cube, the default cube, and delete it. Now we are going to click Add in the top left to make sure you're in the... By default, you will be in the 3D viewport. But if you don't see an Add menu item, you're probably not in the 3D viewport. Okay. Add text. Awesome. There's your default text, and I'm pressing and dragging the middle mouse button to move around like this. Alright, there are two modes in this window, object mode and edit mode, and you can tab between them by hitting the tab key. But I'll just select edit mode here, delete, and I want a question mark character. Okay. Now that you have your text object, which is identified as a text object up here in this outliner, which shows all the objects in your scene, I'm going to change the font. So, down in the Properties panel, scroll down to Data for your text object. Open the Font tab, and next to Regular, click the Open Font button. Let's just pick something quickly for the purposes of this tutorial. Let's see. Anything good? Wow. Even in this situation, it's hard for me not to take my friggin' time to find something cool. Oh, that's terrible. Whatever, we'll use it. Okay. So here's my question mark, and I'm going to hold shift and drag the middle mouse button to get up close to it in the way that I want, because I want to see the extrusion as I do it. So you're done with font for now, unless you want to change the size or other things. In the Geometry tab, next to Extrude, click the arrow to watch as your character comes to 3D life. Okay, not bad. Looks like a fishhook, but whatever. Now, holding shift and moving middle mouse button to get a close look. I'm going to save this project now, so Control S, save, question mark, and oh, I forgot the name of the font. Parchment, okay. Save, question mark, parchment. Okay. I'm looking down here to see how expensive my object is so far, but I don't think I'm going to get feedback on that until I convert it to a mesh, but let's see. Okay, let's try this depth thing. What happens here? Ooh! Oh, that's nice. But it looks ridiculous. It's looking less and less like a question mark, and that's a problem for me. But we'll carry on, shall we? I like it when it's sharp. Yeah, I don't think I want to keep it sharp. Okay. So when you're done messing around with the properties of the data properties of your text object, it's now time to convert it to a mesh. There are lots of videos on how to create objects in Blender and then import them into OpenSimulator. The quirk here is that this is a text object, and there's a lot of stuff you cannot do until you convert it to a mesh. For example, you can't UV map it, you can't get the triangle info. So, right click. Oh wait, I am in edit mode. Let's go back to object mode. Right click. There it is, convert to mesh. Oh, and you also can't smooth it, which is interesting. Yeah. Object mode. Yeah, you can't smooth it. Okay. Excuse me. Let me go back to where I was. Right click in object mode and select. Why is that not activated? Oh, how weird is that? Save. Now I'm getting tries information. See, okay, I should have prefaced this with, hey, I'm a Blender newbie, complete newbie. Anyway, I've got 1,340 tries. That's not bad. See, when you beef it up with this depth value, watch how the tries increase. Whoa, 8,000. But as I say, I don't like it, so I'll just stick with this nice, inexpensive triangle and vertice object. Now why can't, oh, that became activated. Maybe somebody can explain to me why saving the file again allowed me to activate this convert to mesh menu item. Whatever. Okay, convert to mesh. It is now a mesh. The tries, the vertices, that's pretty inexpensive. Oh, save early, save often. Although I think autosave is on here, but anyway. Now it's time to UV map it. Why you want to do this, you know, I'm just not experienced enough to say. I was following another person's video, but they were UV mapping something that was already just a primitive mesh. And so starting out with the text object is that extra step where you got to convert it to a mesh before you can do things like UV edit correctly. Oh, I'm not done. I beg your pardon. If I were to import this into Blender, excuse me, into OpenSimulator now, it would appear like this whenever you dragged it into the world. I would rather have it appear upright. So I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to click X up here in this view, and I'm going to click rotate, and then I'm going to bring it up 90 degrees. And you know what? While I'm at it, I'm going to click Z, and I'm going to rotate it around another 90 degrees. And you can hold control, I think, while you do that. Is that right? Yeah, then you snap. It's easier to get a correct thing. So when you click X up here, you see how it will be imported into OpenSimulator. Okay, now I just want to center it because I don't know if this is a thing, but I want rotations in OpenSimulator to rotate around this dot. If they were to rotate like that, then the dot would be moving like this, and I kind of want the dot to stay still during a rotation. Okay, and I want it about half That's the center point, I'm assuming. Again, I am a noob. All right, save. Okay, all done. Now we can UV edit. So up at the top here, you should see the layout button for this workspace I'm working in, modeling sculpting. UV editing is what you want. Click. Now, you should also see this menu in the UV editing viewport. You should see specifically this UV menu. So drag to select your whole thing and it shows you the default unwrapped map. Wait, the unwrapped UVs. I've found that when you texture the item in OpenSimulator, it doesn't look great like that. So I like to Smart UV project. So that was click UV menu, go down to Smart UV project, and hit OK. See how the UV mapping changed? Okay. I think we're done. So we're going to save. Save. Now it's time to export. Up at the top left, click File, Export, Collada. That's what OpenSimulator accepts. All right. Choose your location where you're going to save your object file and make sure the name is how you want it and click Export. Now you're ready to go to OpenSimulator and import your new object. I'm going to move this guy over. Okay. To import the object, go to Build, Upload, Mesh Model, and then, oh, I forgot where I saved it. Parchment, there it is, okay. There's my new object, or my new mesh. Open, and then you get this window. Okay, so when I tried this the first time, all of these values were NA, and there was a big red X here. And so I tinkered around back in Blender, and I think I Googled for a solution like why this wasn't importing correctly, and I think it's because it's either because I didn't convert this to a mesh or I didn't UV map it. Because once I converted it to a mesh and UV mapped it, this import worked. So I don't know which of those two steps made it work or if both of them did. Anyway, on we go. Before you are allowed to import it, oh, you know what, give it a name. Question, it's a mesh actually, it's just a mesh. Quest, spinning, well it's not spinning yet, but I'm following the naming convention that I've used. Parchment. Okay. I'm going to calculate how expensive this is. Impact. Hey, that's not bad. You want to, for such a simple object, you want to stay below 5. Because you don't want to eat up people's object allowance in their region. That looks pretty good. So say this was like 10. Then I could reduce that by saying, you know what, when people are far away from my object, I don't really care how terrible it looks. Right? So we could drop this down to nothing if we want it. Watch what happens to the weight. I think it was 1 point, what? That can't be right. 1.7. Whoa, what? That's weird. Anyway, play with these values. So when people are up close to your object, they get the best quality looking version. When they're a little bit further away, it's still pretty good quality. Once they're too far away to care what it is, it's starting to look like a weird low-res version. And finally, yeah, it's barely recognizable when you're really far away from it. 1.7. I'm shocked. Did it go up or down from when I first imported? It's nuts. 5. No, that's too expensive for such a dinky little object. I'm going to keep it low. Okay, now we're ready to upload. If you change the name at this point, you're going to have to calculate the weights again. So anyway, now you're ready to upload. It appears in your objects folder in your inventory. Objects, here's my spinning, well, not spinning yet, question mark. So here's what it looks like when it comes in. Not bad. I mean, that's not the best choice of font, but whatever. Okay, now you can style it how you like it. For example, pick a nice texture. Let's do that. Looks weird. Granite block. Is there anything nice? Ooh, that's pretty. I think I used this before. Anyway, look how it appears. Looking pretty good on these flattish faces, but on the side it's not so great. So sometimes you can fix that by selecting planar mapping. Yeah, that looks a tiny bit better. As I say, I'm a noob, so I'm just getting. I have just learned the very tip of the iceberg on texturing. You know, it might be fun to go back into Blender and remap this as a default and bring it in as a separate object and see what happens. What am I doing? I'm exporting. Collada, parchment, default map, default unwrap. I have a cat inbound. No, stay. Normally I polish up my tutorials, but I just wanted to get this one out there. Okay, let's import that again. Upload, mesh, parchment, default unwrap. Calculate 1.6, not bad. Oh crap, I forgot the name. Mesh. Default unwrap. I wonder if that just the title. So many characters in the title. Does that increase the lambda impact? No. Okay, good. All right, so I'm uploading that. Let's bring that in side by side. And now we are going to texture this one. What was this texture? This was seawater. Okay. Okay, not much better. Oh my god, cat. Let's try planar mapping. Whoa, look at that. Well, we still have this weirdness right there. Oh, you know what? It's the same. Okay. let's delete this guy. I'm going to have to learn more about texturing and UV mapping, because I have a suspicion that if you move the vertices over here and stretch them out and sort of make them better, okay, so they're all down there. So these vertices need to be messed with to make the texture show up on them better. That's for another day. All right. Righto. So let's add the scripts. Okay. I have a rotate perpetual script, which just makes it rotate. And that code looks like this. These are all, you only need one of these lines to be uncommented, and they all do different things. This one rotates, let's see, in a different direction. Or around a different axis, sorry. And then this one down here lets you rotate in around multiple axes at once. Righto. Okay. If you'll notice, this one is pretty much the same. It just says, hey, just rotate in this axis and leave these other axes alone. And the speed is pi divided by 2. I like it. I would like it to rotate in the other direction, which I haven't really learned yet. This is a modifier that I'm not sure how to use. This is the speed, and then this is the axis. Oh. I'm going to make a guess and say if we just throw a negative here, it'll reverse the direction. Let's see. Yay! Okay, this is what I want. I want clockwise. Counterclockwise just felt weird. Okay, next script is open notecard on touch. And for that you need a notecard. Where's my note cards? Let's do this guy, see if it works. Yeah. Now I always have trouble opening note cards from objects. There seems to be some magic salt that when dusted on an improved note card means that your code will work opening, giving the inventory item and having it open up on touch. So let's see if this works. Oh, it did. Okay, good. Okay, if you want to see that code again. I can't remember where I got this code. I think I Googled how to pop open a note card in OpenSimulator, and somebody had this really simple piece of code. Oh, and this is the text that now appears over your item, which I'm not a fan of, but since I was putting these in the Kitely Market Store, I thought I'd just throw that in there. So now you have a working rotating question mark. Oh, you know what? I want it to be a little more subtle, so I'm going to make it a little more transparent, maybe about how transparent. That's not bad. And then I wouldn't mind it glowing whoa, not you. Glow a smidge. Oh, that's pretty. Very subtle. All right. And it hides the imperfections of the texture a little bit. All right. So now say you have a region and you've got like an area where people might think, hey, why did you design this upstairs sitting room the way you did? You can leave a wee question mark that people can open, and when they click it, it says, let's see, open my note card. This sitting room is on the second floor because it's warmer. Why make a bedroom warmer when you have blankets? All right. And I'll change the overlay to say click for info about this room. Yeah, so people come upstairs and they go, hey, what's the deal about this room? Click, there you go. Okay, I hope that was useful. Again, it's a very specific scenario. Like, you probably didn't learn too much except the barest bones of ways to get a mesh from Blender into OpenSimulator. Why? And there you go. Thanks.